and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Quezada, the defendant, is charged under the Municipal Code of 1979, 34-144, with failure to maintain suitable live plant material in a front yard setting, thereby constituting a nuisance. You heard all the facts in the case, and now the time has come for you to determine Mr. Quezada's guilt or innocence. But it must be based upon the law as I have given it to you. Bailiff, will you please escort the jurors to the deliberation room, please?
Now this looks pretty simple to me. You can see the guy's address. It's in his front yard. The city says you can't have a garden. He's got a vegetable garden.
Yeah, I mean, they read us the city ordinance, and the law says you can't have a garden in your front yard.
The guy's been given plenty of opportunity to take the garden out, plant it with grass, and he hasn't done so.
I say we find him guilty, get out of here and play hooky the rest of the day.
Huh?
And are we ready to vote?
Has the jury reached a verdict
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
on the charge of failure to maintain suitable live plant material in the front yard setting, thereby constituting a nuisance? How does the jury find the defendant?
We find the defendant
Okay, gang, first order of business is we have to select a jury foreman. Anybody want to be foreman?
I mean, if no one else wants to do it.
Okay. Anybody else? Want to volunteer? Okay, looks like you got it. And your name?
I'm Jody.
Hey Jody, I'm Joe, and I guess I'll just take a little minute here. This is like the fifth time actually that I've been on a jury, and maybe we could just go around the table, give us your name, and if you've done this before, it's up to you.
My name is Maria, and this is the first time I've ever served on a jury, so I'm completely lost as to how all this works.
Yeah, my name is Ashton, but you all can call me Ash, and this is my second time on a jury.
Hi, my name is Dante, and I guess I'll let you call me Dante. And this is the first and hopefully the last time I ever have to do this. It's whack, right?
My name is still Jody, and this is the first time I've ever served on a jury. I've been summoned a lot, but this is the first time I've actually been picked.
George, first time.
Okay. Now, what we need to decide is whether Mr. Quezada is guilty of not maintaining suitable live plant material by growing an illegal garden in his front yard.
I'm gonna go make some coffee.
I wouldn't bother. We're not going to be here that long.
Okay, fine.
Now this looks pretty simple to me. You can see the guy's address. It's in his front yard. The city says you can't have a garden. He's got a vegetable garden.
Yeah, I mean, they read us the city ordinance, and the law says you can't have a garden in your front yard.
I mean, actually, the garden looks kind of cool. But the guy's been given plenty of opportunity to take the garden out, plant it with grass, and he hasn't done so.
Yep, should have realized by the third ticket that the city wasn't playing. I say we find him guilty, get out of here and play hooky the rest of the day.
Huh?
And are we ready to vote?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. So that's it?
What do you mean?
Just like that?
You don't think he's guilty?
The guy broke the law. We're looking at the pictures right here.
This guy's looking at 60 days in jail for a vegetable garden in his front lawn.
So you don't think he's guilty?
Without a doubt, he's guilty.
Well, what's the problem then?
Just because he's guilty doesn't mean we should find him guilty.
Just because he owns deep property, they mean he can do whatever he wants to with it?
Yeah, it kind of does. That's what private property is.
You just wait a minute. You're not going to speak to me that way.
George, can you please calm down?
No, this kid. He's just making it more difficult than it needs to be.
This isn't about you. This is about his garden. Mr. Gazetta's vegetable garden in his yard. Why are you taking it so personal?
You're the one that's making it personal.
Yo, George, I think we need to
Oh, it's-
dial it down just a notch.
He's sitting there and laughing at me like it's a joke.
No, I thought this was a deliberation room, but apparently it's your kangaroo court.
He's not low.
Oh, you two need to just settle down a little bit, and that's enough, and we need to focus on what we're trying to do here. Now, a few minutes ago, Ash, you were saying what?
All I was saying is Mr. Gazetta was clearly guilty, but just because he's guilty doesn't mean he's criminally responsible.
I'm gonna make that coffee now.
Why not? The guy didn't do anything but plant a vegetable garden in his yard.
But the law says you can't.
It's a terrible law.
But it's the law.
Well, what would you do then?
I'd let the guy go.
Of course he would.
But why?
Let me see them photos. I mean, you can't convict somebody for engaging in an otherwise lawful activity on their property.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, it is. But I'm talking about the right to use your property in a manner that you see fit.
So if he wanted to park a junk car in his front yard, you'd be okay with that?
He didn't do that. The guy planted some veggies in a garden. That's it.
So you don't think he should be in trouble for that?
No, I don't.
Well, I mean, he could have moved the garden to the backyard and avoided this whole mess.
You know, did any of you notice the trees in his backyard? Look how tall they are. I bet there's nothing but shade there. The front yard, that's probably the only suitable place for a garden.
City says you can't do it anyway. 3 citations, $500 fine. That should have made it clear.
Really? 60 days in jail and a $500 fine for what? Growing tomatoes in your front yard? The city has nothing better to do than funnel its resources and prosecute this guy for growing a vegetable garden?
Damn good point.
Okay, so what do we do?
We'll let him walk.
Cause it's goofy, right?
Yeah, but mostly it's a terrible law.
So what makes it so terrible exactly?
It's heavy-handed. It's immoral.
How so?
Look, why should this guy be forced under threat of incarceration to make his yard identical to his neighbor's, all in the name of what? Conformity?
So you think him removing these drying corn stalks is immoral?
As a matter of fact, I do. And that's your opinion, by the way. Millions of people grow tomatoes, and who says they bring down property values?
Well, it's the city's job. The city should take the neighborhood and make it look to where people don't take down the property values.
You know what? Look at it. Look at the property values. That neighbor's lawn is covered with yellow spots.
Well, it's just like every other neighbor's.
Sort
It's
of.
grass.
Look, Mr. Cazzetta is minding his own business. He's not hurting anyone.
Okay, but the law says.
That law is terrible, heavy-handed, and immoral.
Dude's got a point.
I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to play the devil advocate.
Can you stop with all the finger pointing?
I'm not playing the devil's anything, all right?
You know, I think we're spending way too much time on this issue, Ash. I think we should just teach the guy a lesson and go home.
Teach the guy a lesson. Look.
What is that? Oh, snap. He brought a constitution to the courthouse.
Figures.
Really? Our laws? All in this? All in our Constitution? All to protect our freedom, our rights?
Yep.
Come on, really?
Yeah, really. Who says you can't grow vegetables in your garden? Where does it say that in the Constitution? You can plant an apple tree in your backyard, but you can't have one in your front yard? Why is that fair?
Bam, there it is, all wrapped up in a nice bow for everyone.
But this is about the law.
No, George, this is about the principle of the law.
This argument was over a long time ago. I got Ash's back. This guy isn't hurting anybody, growing delicious, nutritious vegetables in his front yard. The law's a bunch of bull. Not guilty.
See, I'm on board with you guys. It is ridiculous. I mean, if they can build a rock garden, then why is the city going to go after somebody that's going to build a vegetable garden in their front yard? Vegetables are food. It's not like rocks. You can't eat rocks.
I know I haven't said much, but I think I agree with Ash. Vegetables aren't a nuisance, and he's not hurting anybody, so I'm going to change my vote to not guilty.
Well, it kind of goes against my grain, but I can go along with you guys, and I'll go for not guilty. George, it's up to you.
2 minutes ago, we were all on board, except for Patrick Henry over here. You know, what's going to happen to our neighborhood if we don't find this guy not guilty?
You're being dramatic.
Like hell.
Come on, 60 days in jail for a garden? That's dramatic.
Okay, fine, whatever, not guilty. But just realize what kind of can of worms you guys are opening up.
Then it's settled. Not guilty. I'll tell the bailiff that we're done.
Man, this is crazy. I never would have thought we had this much power.
You know, this is the way the system was set up. Do you guys remember? Specifically, the judge told us,
Now, the time has come for you to determine Mr. Quezada's guilt or innocence. But it must be based upon the law as I have given it to you.
Man, I wouldn't listen to the judge, bro.
I heard him say it. He said it was our job to figure this thing out based on the law, the way that it was written.
that's what they want you to believe, but it's our right to toss out charges that we find immoral to the Constitution.
So why didn't he tell it to us like that?
Tossing out charges gives us an opportunity to start undoing bad laws.
But we didn't undo anything. The law is still there.
Thank you, Maria. We didn't do nothing to do anything.
And then next time somebody plants a front yard garden, you're not going to be there to save them.
You know what? There might not be a next time. The district attorney's going to think twice about prosecuting someone for having a garden.
So that's how it works.
So the bailiff is going to tell the judge that we are ready.
What, I just got one question, Ash. So this will work for any law that we might disagree with? We can toss out charges?
Any law that we see unjust or wrong.
That's pretty tight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, has the jury reached a verdict
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
on the charge of failure to maintain suitable live plant material in the front yard setting? How does the jury find the defendant?
We find the defendant not guilty.
Order in the court. This court cannot sustain such applause. This isn't a sporting event. Would the bailiff please take the verdict from the foreman? Mr. Quezada, you've been found innocent of the charge against you. We'll now need you to sign some papers, and then you're free to go. This court's proceedings are concluded.
You did good, son.
tell you I got jury duty the day after tomorrow?
Nah.
Man, I hate jury duty. I gotta figure a way out of this.
Man, I had the same problem about a month ago. I got picked for jury duty. I had to sit through like a 3-hour trial.
Dang, 3 hours for what?
Some dude had planted a vegetable garden in his front yard, some bogus charge.
A vegetable garden? What'd he do, murder somebody and bury him in it?
He might as well have. They tried to give him, what was it, a $500 fine in 60 days for a vegetable garden.
60 days? Oh, man. So you trying to tell me you sent him to jail for a vegetable garden?
Man, peep this, not guilty.
Dang, so what, did he break the law or not?
Look, there was some whiz kid on our jury, and before we went to the deliberating room, the judge was like, we had to base it on the law as he had gave it to us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we get in there, and this whiz, you know what I'm saying, he's spitting his little game, whatever. We arguing. Then he pulls out a Constitution out his back pocket, like, bam!
Dang. For what?
Man, dude started spitting something about constitutional rights, freedom of speech,
Yeah.
God-given laws, and how it would be illegal or immoral for the dude to get 60 days in jail.
What, for real?
For real, man. It's like, if the city doesn't mind if you plant a tree in the front yard, why should they care about a vegetable garden?
Hold up, so all you did was say not guilty and let him go?
Nah, it's a little more to that.
Dang, you got me lost.
It's like this, pimp. If there's a law that the city creates,
Yeah.
and it's a bad law, then we just can, like, be like, not guilty.
So hold up, how can you ignore the law like that?
I don't know, that's the way it was explained to me.
You can do that?
We did. You should have seen the judge, though. It was hilarious. It was like the Pac and Snoop video,
Yeah.
Picture Me Rolling.
Yeah,
The DA was upset. He was slamming his briefcase. Oh, man, it was priceless.
yeah. Now I'm gonna have to remember that if I get picked.
Indeed.
Yes.
I'll see you in a
Go
minute.
back to work. Remember I told you I got jury duty coming up?
Is that where you been the last couple days?
Yeah, man. It's a messed up case, too. This guy got caught up before Percocet pills on him.
For real? Was he dealing or something?
Nah, he actually hurt himself at work, so his sister gave him 4 Percocet pills, so he was driving in the car and got pulled over and had him in his glove box.
Man.
Yeah. And you know the messed up thing is they trying to give him 2 years for it.
2 years?
Yeah, two years. 2
Damn.
years. Yeah. And you know the judge, they not showing him no type of leniency. They trying to throw everything at him. You know, everything. So he at court they brought in a drug specialist, the police. They brought everybody in.
That's how they do.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Man, so we go into the deliberation room, right? And all the jurors, they want to convict this guy because everybody who testified against him. You know, they talking about all the possession laws he done broke. He did this, he did that. You know, yada.
For real.
Yeah. And you know, while I'm sitting here listening to it, that thing you was telling me about popped into my head.
Oh, you brought it up?
What thing?
So check this out, man. Going around the table, everybody's like,
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Not guilty.
so when I said that, everybody get to staring and, man, it literally sounded like I took the needle and scratched it across the record.
That's what happened in mine.
Straight up.
Wait, what's this thing you're talking about?
So the guy, he looks at me and said,
He had the pills on him. Are you crazy?
like, no.
Damn.
So what happened is when we get in there, I start explaining to him how I don't feel it's right to get this guy 2 years for 4 Percocets. You know, his sister was just trying to help him out. Guy hurt himself at work. He was trying to sleep. You know, it's just not right to me.
Yeah, that's cold.
You
I
know,
would've never even thought about that.
and he wasn't selling them. He wasn't hurting nobody. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, that's a cold piece.
Man, it went down exactly like you said it would, too. Yeah, the judge, man, he told us we got to decide on the law just as he gives it to us.
See what I tell you?
That's exactly what he said, too, as he gives it to us. But then this crazy guy, he says, but the judge said, so I say, look here, any of you guys ever heard of jury nullification?
Jury what?
You know, that thing you told me about. It's got a name called jury nullification.
How you know that?
Man, because after you told me, I went home, Googled it, looked it up on the internet.
And?
Oh, it's real. It's a constitutional right only few of us know about.
So what is it?
So then what happened?
So one guy in there understands, you know, when I get to explain the whole nullification and how you can ignore the laws with it.
Ignore 'em
Everybody
how?
else, they get to looking at me crazy like it's something on my face or I got something growing out my ears. But you can actually ignore the law with it.
Wait, how do you just ignore a law?
Look, it's like this. Even though the guy's guilty, you take the charges, you toss him, and let him go.
That's it.
That's what I learned reading about it.
You just toss him.
Yeah, so if it's a bad law, then you toss it.
Hmm.
So anyway, I don't feel like God should go to jail for just trying to get better. You know, he was feeling weak and everything.
Nah, he shouldn't go to jail for that.
Yeah, so it took about 20 minutes, but I had to convince everybody that was a BS law and that we should let this guy go.
Yeah, I would have found him innocent too.
You know, just like in your case, man, the judge, the DA, they was all us up. They was mad, loud. DA was slamming his briefcase.
Maybe there is something to this notification jury stuff.
Sounds interesting.
Man, I could tell after talking to the jury and everybody in there, they all decided that we shouldn't lock him up for something like that. You know, it's senseless. It make no sense.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't lock him up.
And you know, the funny part is, I caught my wife talking to her friends about the whole jury duty thing I had going and the whole nullifying thing. Oh, they was impressed.
It fresh to death, huh? That's funny.
And now, the time has come for you to determine Mr. Dunn's guilt or innocence. But it must be based upon the law as I have given it to you.
We know that he failed to claim $6,500 in profits from the sale of some plants. Didn't report it on his income tax. That's not the question.
Well, what exactly is the question then?
The question is, should he have to?
Definitely, yes. The law that the judge stated says you must report all income from whatever source derived.
But have you ever reported money from a garage sale?
Come on now, that's entirely different.
How?
This guy failed to claim $6,500 over the course of 2 years. Now, that's a far cry from a couple $100 selling some used junk.
It was 6 weekends over 2 years.
Yeah, so because he made more money over a few weekends than you did at your garage sale, you want to put him in jail.
And not only go to jail, you want to put him in there for 5 years.
I agree with Mike and Sarah. The state is just trying to make an example out of this guy, and we can't let them do that.
Exactly. We have the ability right here and right now to put the government in its place.
But how do we do that?
Well, Sarah's been talking about it for an hour.
We take this charge and we nullify it. We know the guy is guilty, but he grew these plants in his backyard, he sold them on his driveway, and he made that money legally. We can't throw him into jail for that.
But?
Do you care that he didn't report it on his income tax?
No, but the judge never gave us that option.
But that's Sarah's point. It was never given to us as an option, but it is.
Look, the government acts like a big bully, and sometimes bullies need to just be put in their place. Otherwise, they keep right on bullying. Don't you guys ever get tired of the IRS harassing people and ruining their lives?
This guy's guilty, and we all know it.
Thank you, William.
But I agree with Sarah. Only because if we don't find him guilty, then what's next? First, it's his plant sale. Next time, it could be your garage sale.
Yeah, you know, I totally agree with the four of you. I mean, I brought a jury handbook in here, just in case. And it says right here, we can nullify every rule or law that is not in accordance with the principles of natural, God-given, common, or constitutional rights. So we nullify this thing.
Matt, the right thing to do here is to let this guy go free.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
On the charge of failure to report income, how does the jury find?
We find the defendant not guilty.
Let's have order. Order in the court. Mr. Dunn, you've been found innocent of the charge against you. You're free to go. Court dismissed.